As prices rise, it seems to be that computer prices are starting to fall in price. Now, one of the main reasons could be that computer components are deemed as a luxury good, at least in theory. But today, for June of 2022, I've got a gaming computer that you can put together yourself for a pretty reasonable budget. Just before we get started, make sure you can check out wisetech.org and chuck us a follow on TikTok. I'm making a lot more shorts recently, and you guys should be in to watch them. They're really fun to watch. So, what is the price of this computer? Depending on the components you're going to choose, you can set us around $1,389 to $1,274. I'll show you the differences and the reasoning for all my parts in the next 10 to 15 minutes. So let's get straight into it. The i5-12400F is 12th gen Intel. It's a 6-core processor and it comes in at around $282 from Extreme PC, PC Force, PBTech. And it's a really good processor for its price. It supports PCIe 4.0, so you won't have any problems running any cards, especially from the AMD lineup, and you'll be all good in terms of that. Again, great processor. It's a 6-core processor, 12th gen Intel, and it's pretty future-proof. Along with that, the motherboard we've chosen is the ASRock H610M motherboard. It's a $153 motherboard from PBTech. It comes with 2 slots for RAM, 2 DIMM slots, PCIe 4.0, 4 SATA, and pretty much it's a basic board that you can choose and you're going to be all good with it. It's really easy to run and set up. Now, in terms of overclocking, well, you probably wouldn't be doing any overclocking in this instance, and you probably can't anyways. But again, good cheap board from ASRock, and you'll be all good with the 12th gen Intel CPU. So let's head over to the RAM. The RAM, we've gone with the Corsair Vengeance LPX 16 gigs. It's DDR4 3200 CL16, $109 from Extreme PC, and basically from this guy, you get a pretty good solid performance in terms of the RAM specifications, and you're going to be all good running it with the 12th gen Intel CPU that I've chosen. Now, there is an alternative you guys want as well. It's one from Kingston, and it also comes in around $105 to $110 New Zealand usually, and that's on special. Usually these guys come down in price to around that price range, so that's a good price to pick them up. Is below $115 is usually something I'd pay for this type of kit of RAM. Overall, a solid kit of RAM, and you'll be fine with it as well. Heading over to the storage, I've just gone with one option. It's the Samsung 980 500GB M.2 NVMe SSD. Now, this is coming in at about $88 from Extreme PC, or $87 from First Wave, $89 from Computer Lounge and PBTech. So it's going to be able to fit in this motherboard here. So it has a PCIe slot, M.2 slot for the SSD as well, just one. Yeah, I mean, you're going to be fine with it. It's one of the cheaper M.2 drives that you can get, and it's by Samsung, so a very trustworthy brand, and usually I try to go Samsung with my SSDs. Crucial also makes some awesome SATA SSDs, and so does Samsung as well, so be the MX500, and the Samsung one is the 870 EVO, so either one you'll be fine with, but at this price it's an amazing price for 500 gig SSD. Now, for the graphics card, it's a little bit interesting here. So I've chosen the 6600 XT Speedster Quick. It's an XFX graphics card, and it comes in at $499 from Computer Lounge, and it's a triple fan cooler on this guy, so quite large for this type of graphics card, and it's pretty easy to run. Just one 8x connector that goes into it. And overall, I think it's actually probably the best bang for the buck graphics card in New Zealand at the moment for 1080p. Now, arguably, there is the alternative one that I will show you guys now as well. It's the 6600, and it comes on at about $384 from First Wave, or $399 from Extreme PC. Now, arguably, this is the better deal, and this is the cheapest 6600 that you can get. But in my opinion, I still think the performance uplift from the 6600 XT being $100 more probably will be worth it more for the 1080p gamers, and you should be fine with it. So personally, I would go that extra step and just spend a tiny bit more. Sorry, not a tiny bit more. $100 is a lot, but that investment might be a little bit more worth it in the future compared to getting the 6600. And considering they go upwards of $400, I think it's much more worth it to get something at $499. Now, I have seen the 6600 XTs actually come down on special to $449, so that's something to keep in mind as well. If you guys can see any of these 6600 XTs for $449, that's an amazing price. Don't pass it up. That's a really good opportunity to get a really good value card. Now, do keep in mind it is only 8x, so you will need to run it with PCIe 4.0 just to mitigate any problems that can come with the bandwidth limitations. But overall, it's a great card. Either one you'll be fine with. If you guys want to see a comparison of them, the 6600 and the 6600 XT, I'd highly recommend checking out Hardware Unbox and his videos to understand a bit more about these cards. And Eva's Gamers Nexus will give you a good overview on them as well. You also might be wondering, why in the world am I not mentioning the RTX 3060? Now, it is very comparable to the RX 6600 XT, especially at 1080p. As you upscale higher and higher, usually the 3060 does a bit better. Now, why am I not mentioning it? I'm just going to go through this price list here, and you can see around $499. Who is the king winner right here? It's the 6600 XT. Who's the next one? 6600 XT. Who's the guy competing on the Nvidia lineup in this price range at the moment? It's the 3050, and the 3050 is not as powerful as the 6600 XT. As we continue down, we're going to find stuff like the RTX 2060 and more 3050 listings, but at the cheapest, RTX 3060 here is $639 still, so a full $139 over the RX 6600 XT. By logic, if they're both equally powerful, then it's a clear, obvious choice to choose the RX 6600 XT in my opinion. Now, if you're not going to choose a system that has PCIe 4.0, like you're going to go for a i5-10400F, it might actually be more worth it to take the 3060 just because you won't have any problems with bandwidth limitations. But to me, I think the better alternative is just to get the 12th gen Intel or the latest Ryzen and put it in with a 6600 XT. You'll be saving a bit of money, and usually the last thing you upgrade generally sometimes is the motherboard and CPU. The graphics card is something you can easily change out, so being on a good platform in any case, such as 12th gen Intel, will set you up better for the future, especially that we're going into a generational change soon later on this year. So that's my argument for why the RX 6600 XT is a bit better in terms of value for money. It's just straight out cheaper, and you can go with a better generation here for the PCIe 4.0. I mean, you can choose the RTX 3060 as well and go 12th gen Intel. That's awesome as well. But hey, this is just me, and I'm trying to get the best bang for the buck for you guys here. So in my opinion, the 6600 XT is probably the way to go. For the case, we're having an awesome deal on the Fantex Eclipse P360A. It's $99.30 from PB Tech. It's a really good airflow case. It comes with 2 fans here. You might need to install your own one here. I won't be including that in the budget, but you can move one from here to here for the exhaust if you want to. Overall, it's a great case. I've built in it myself before. It's super fun to build in. It's really easy. It's seamless almost, and the lights look amazing on it as well. Yeah, great case overall. Good build quality. Lastly, we've got the power supply. So this one is the Corsair RMX 650. It's the second version of it apparently, and it comes in $158 from Extreme PC or $159 from PB Tech. Now, the reason it's not listed like on the build itself, I had to put it as a custom part, is because PC Part Picker wasn't picking the part up, like it wasn't automatically showing it up. So I decided to put it in myself because I think that's pretty good value for money here. 160, and you guys can get them. Usually they go on special, even the first generation of them. will go down to maybe 150, or I'd seen them at 139 at one point as well. So keep that in mind. It's a really high quality power supply, and you will definitely not go wrong with it, even in the long run. So overall, the build will stretch you from about 1,389 right down to 1,274. Now, there are some awesome deals on 12th gen Intel at the moment. As you can see here, I haven't gone with the 11400F because the 12400F is really cheap. But if you guys wanted to, you can go 11th gen Intel with the 11400F, and you'll be able to have PCIe 4.0 still, and at a cheaper budget. The 11400F should be around $250, so you'll be saving about $30 if you guys want to do that as well. We are going into a generational change, and I still think this is a pretty reasonable budget for an awesome 1080p gaming computer. Now, I know money's really tight at the moment, and you know, inflation's getting pretty outrageous at the moment. So I do understand that, and these price points might not actually be viable for a lot of people at the moment. So let me know in the comments if you guys actually want to have these builds at these prices, because it's hard to gauge from my perspective as well, because in my opinion these are really good deals, but I know a lot of people can't afford these prices at the moment, even though they are at awesome deals, just because of budget constraints. So what price point would you guys like to see? Do you guys want to see it like at $1,000, at $1,100, at $900 or below? You know, if we're going below 1,000, it's going to be pretty difficult to do a build brand new, although it could be possible. I am going to put out a video soon that is going to be a budget build for New Zealand, and we're going to go over the parts that are put in it and just a general gauge for the market price as well on it. It's going to be, should be under about $700 New Zealand, or even further below that. You guys can build it super easily. It's not that hard, and yeah, you should be fine with it. That build should come out maybe a few days after this video, so make sure you go and check it out if you guys are watching this in the future. But other than that, I hope you guys enjoyed the video. I made it a little bit shorter for today, but again, make sure you go and check out the TikTok, and make sure you go and drop a follow on it. But other than that, make sure you can check out ystech.org for the latest post reviews and much more. I'll see you guys there at ystech.org. But other than that, I hope you guys have an awesome day. Stay safe, stay healthy, and I'll see you guys in the next video. Bye.